This is KGW News at noon.
We are getting a tragic update on that situation in Iran. According to local media reports there, at least now 56 people have died in a stampede at a funeral for a top Iranian general. Good afternoon to you. I'm Nina Melhoff in for Brenda today. That top general was killed in a U.S. airstrike last week, and his death has sparked calls across Iran for revenge against the U.S. NBC's Richard Engel has details.
Qasem Soleimani, the Iranian general killed by a U.S. drone strike ordered by President Trump, was buried this morning in his hometown. Iranian state TV reports dozens of people were killed and dozens more injured in a stampede that broke out at the funeral. Amid the crushing sea of mourners, the head of Iran's Revolutionary Guard making explicit threats, saying, "We tell our enemies that we will retaliate, but if they take another action, we will set ablaze the places that they like and are passionate about." President Trump has offered up threats of his own, saying if Iran does retaliate, the U.S. response could be disproportionate, with strikes inside Iran, even against cultural sites. The UN Secretary General says he hasn't seen the world so full of risk.
Geopolitical tensions are at their highest level this century, and this turbulence is escalating.
Overnight, the Department of Homeland Security issued a general warning that Iran could respond with cyber attacks, improvised bombs, drones, attacks on civilians, or use one of its armed proxies, both on the U.S. or American interests around the globe. Nothing specific, but a clear expression of concern. The U.S. is sending in several thousand more troops to the region as reinforcements. So the U.S. clearly concerned that Iran will respond, just they are not sure when or where. Richard Engel, NBC News, Erbil, Iraq.
We'll keep bringing you updates on this story. You can go to KGW.com or our app for the latest. Back here at home, we now know the name of that 11-year-old boy in Gresham who was hit and killed by a car just while walking to school yesterday. Police say he is Luis Medina. That crash happened near his Dexter McCarty Middle School. There was a small makeshift memorial set up there with flowers and balloons to honor him. And one woman who dropped off flowers this morning told us Luis was her cousin. She is asking everyone to continue to show their support.
Prayers for his mom and my uncle, because it's very hard to deal with something like that.
Police say this man, Garrett Bergquist, was impaired by something other than alcohol when he hit the boy in the crosswalk. Officers say he ran a red light. Bergquist is charged with manslaughter, DUI, and reckless driving. He'll be in court later today. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe account for Luis's family has raised over $10,000 so far. If you would like to help them out, we have a link to that on our website. A shooting this morning in Portland's Old Town district has left a man in the hospital. Police found him with a gunshot wound at Northwest Park and Flanders. Lots of officers showed up there and blocked off the streets. Now, officers have not named that man and haven't said what led up to the shooting. If you have any information, give police a call. Officers, meanwhile, in Newberg saved the lives of people who had to jump out of a second-story window when it caught fire. They got there just as folks were ready to jump from the window of these apartments on South River Street. Officers literally caught one person, then drove their patrol car under the window for the other people to jump onto. Amazingly, no one was hurt, and the Red Cross is helping them find somewhere to stay. Fire crews say a baseboard heater ignited a Christmas tree, a reminder to all of us to get rid of those dry trees. All right, time now to talk weather. We want to take a live look from our Rose City Sky Cam this noon. Rain rolling back in here pretty soon. Chris McGinnis is in for Rod Hill. He's been watching it.
Yeah, about how long do you think it'll take you to walk back to the studio?
Oh, 10 minutes.
Okay, it'll be raining in about 11 minutes, great. Okay? So it's no, we're good for probably another hour or so here in the metro area. The Wells Fargo Sky Camera showing, of course, the clouds overhead. But as we swing to the beach, check this out. Rocking and rolling right now in the breeze and the rain. It is a wet lunch right now at Pacific City at the Pelican Brew Pub there. Radar is showing plenty of rain offshore and even some returns now showing up in the Coast Range, and those will march eastward over the next couple of hours. So this is Futurecast, and by 2 o'clock, it looks like the Coast Range is getting wet, and we've got rain starting to roll out of the Coast Range and towards the Willamette Valley. This is by 2. By 3 or 4 o'clock, I think we're all getting wet up and down the I-5 corridor. So the bottom line here is that the afternoon commute is going to be a wet one here pretty much anywhere that you're watching us this afternoon. And then eventually that rain tapers off to showers overnight tonight. So here's what we're looking at right now. It's breezy, it's mild, it's 56 at PDX. Those temperatures are going to drop a little bit this afternoon and we'll be down to about 50 at 6 o'clock. Full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right,
Nina.
Chris, thank you. Hey, we are getting a better look at that damage from a 6.4 magnitude earthquake that hit Puerto Rico this morning. On the southern side of the island, buildings collapsed and the power was knocked out. 1 man died and at least 8 other people were hurt. This earthquake is one of several that have hit Puerto Rico just in the past 2 weeks. Yesterday, a 5.8 magnitude quake damaged homes and caused small landslides. In Australia, cooler weather and much needed rain is giving firefighters some relief as they battle the wildfires there. More than 1,500 homes have been destroyed. That number is expected to go way up. Firefighters now from Oregon and Washington have gone there to help, and we spoke with a fire analyst from right here in the Northwest who's already in Australia. He says with so many fires burning at once, they just cannot keep up.
The magnitude of it and the scale of so many large simultaneous fires destroying property at one time is extremely unique, and I've never seen anything like this in 30 years of fighting fire.
The environmental impact is just impossible to measure. Some experts say 500 million animals have died. If you would like to help, the Australian Red Cross is accepting donations. You can also give to the Salvation Army Australia or the State Emergency Relief Fund. We have links to all of those vetted groups and more on our website. Now to Albany, where a correctional facility for kids is under fire over alleged sex abuse. The Department of Justice released a new report on Oak Creek Youth Correctional Facility, and it says 14% of the 42 girls reported they have been sexually abused while staying there. That is more than double the national average of sex abuse cases in similar youth correctional facilities. That report says it has to find out who may have done these alleged crimes so they can stop it. The Oregon Youth Authority says it is now working on a plan. All right, listen to this consumer alert. A Tigered mom has a word of warning after she says she was scammed out of $800 just trying to take her family to the Blazer game. Karen Davidson wanted to see Portland play Los Angeles last month. It was going to be a surprise for her kids because one of them loves LeBron. And it would have been the first time the whole family got to go to a game. So she found a seller on Craigslist. After sending him the money and texting the guy, he said he'd email the tickets right away. They never came. Karen says she's bought Blazer tickets on Craigslist before, never had a problem. But the team says it is safer to buy tickets at the Rose Quarter box office or on trailblazers.com. We have an update on the case of Kylie Dixon. A judge ruled the Wilsonville 13-year-old will be forced to have surgery to treat her cancer, despite her mom's fight to stop it. We've been covering this story for 6 months now. The state of Oregon took custody of Kylie this summer after her mom defied a court order to bring Kylie in for prescribed medical treatment. Instead, her mom wanted to seek alternative treatments, things like CBD oil. According to the DHS, Kylie's status was moved to a medical emergency last week when a second tumor was found. And her mom put in a request to delay the treatment, but a judge denied it yesterday. Kylie's surgery is set for sometime next week. Another city has banned homeless tent camping on sidewalks and public property. Kaiser city councilors voted unanimously on it last night. This comes just weeks after a similar camping ban took effect in Salem. Catherine Cook explains it would be a citation, not a criminal offense.
By saying aye. Aye. Kaiser City Council voted unanimously to pass an ordinance prohibiting camping on sidewalks, public property, and public rights of way in the city.
Poverty is a huge issue.
It comes on the heels of a similar ordinance the city of Salem passed late last year. There, unhoused people are a growing part of the city's landscape. It's a less visible issue here in Kaiser. Still,
it makes you nervous.
Jennifer lives in Kaiser, but has been keeping a close eye on what's happening in Salem and how it might impact her community.
Are you worried that ordinance will bring people who are not housed into Kaiser? Yes. I mean, because it seems like they're kind of moving farther this way.
Homeless advocates are also monitoring that possibility and what they call unintended consequences of camping bans.
When the city of Salem passed their ordinance, they imagined that all those people who were camping outside of Archie's in those tents would suddenly go away. Well, they didn't. Instead of camping in tents, they took to sleeping on the side of the street next to Rite Aid and next to the Nordstrom building. It's about 70 to 80, maybe as many 90 folks there tonight.
Aside from the ordinance, Kaiser Mayor Kathy Clark says the city has been working with government agencies, service providers, and the faith community to help those living on the street.
Build those bridges of relationship so people who are on the fringes, not feeling comfortable or don't have a place to go that they know about, are able to come in and start accepting services.
It's what Jennifer hopes will happen to make this city home to everyone.
Kaiser's always been a really nice, safe place, and I love it here.
In Kaiser, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Sending congratulations across the bridge in Vancouver, where a new fire chief is making history today. Kristen Maurer is the first female fire chief at Clark County Fire District 6 in Hazeldale. Maurer started there as a firefighter and paramedic in 1999. She'll be in charge of 3 fire stations and 60 full-time staff and 20 volunteers. She'll officially be sworn in tonight.